Welcome to Phoenix Rise Connect, where businesses, creators, and powerful ideas come together. We provide businesses with a platform to share their story, demonstrate their products, and connect with new audiences around the world. Through professional live interviews, engaging podcasts, and authentic conversations, we help brands build visibility, credibility, and trust.
Hey, everybody. How are we on this warm, very warm, 6 o'clock in the UK for a spot of a Phoenix Connect? How are we for my very first episode? I've got the wonderful Dawn McGraph with me this afternoon. How are you, Dawn?
Fabulous. So grateful to be here and happy this is happening, and really appreciate the time that you're spending with me.
Thank you. Well, I'm really excited about this because I've been speaking to my friends and family about this, and this is a brand new idea, brand new connection for mostly the music industry. We're going to be bringing you some businesses from around the world who are going to connect with you, musicians and artists. But it's also for everyone else out there. So if you've got any comments or questions today, please join in, okay? Don't ask me, ask the specialist, ask Dawn, okay? She'll be able to give you the answers. I won't. I'm just sitting here and listening, okay? So, Dawn, I've been speaking to Bubba all week over the Scene Project, and I have had many animals come onto the show. And it seems to be a bit of a theme this week, especially with the interview that we're having with you. So, if you were to go on to any live TV show or podcast and you were to bring an animal with you, who would be co-presenting with you on stage? Which animal would you bring into us?
Well, right now, Bailey, my 3-year-old Shetland sheepdog, is a favorite. And he has been working with me for 3 years in all different places. We go to businesses, we go to hospitals, we go to schools, camps, memory care units. So we're everywhere, even the fire department. And
so is Bailey a celebrity then? Is Bailey Seymour a celebrity than you, Dawn? Is it sort of like, Bailey's the one on the camera?
He steals the show. Everyone loves him. He comes in and they're all like rushing over. He's very fluffy and soft and has such a tame disposition. We could have 25 kids pawing over him and they just love him. I mean, I'll bring brushes and they can brush him and they love it. So, and he does too. So it's win-win for everybody. And especially kids who are feeling stressed. Sometimes we'll go to the library and there are students that are struggling with reading, let's say, for example, and they'll read to the dog and they just feel that much more comfortable. And if they're stumbling, it's fine, especially students where English is the second language. It's great, So, and then in businesses, we're measuring stress levels because everyone out there in the working world realizes there's a lot of stress out there, high demands, and everything is expected now, especially with technology. So we're bringing little Bailey in and trying not to be, taking too much of anybody's time, but just a half-hour visit really has helped a lot with stress levels. And we're starting to actually measure that so we can get some true data for the medical field and the business field so that they can see that this is real and this is healthy and this is a great way to deal with stress. And we're really advocating for animal therapy in the workplace and really to help businesses carve out some time and be open as a society to allow animals to come in and give workers a break for even 15, 20 minutes.
Has it been seen in the business world? Have they accepted you coming in and have they been like, coming to the workplace? It must be quite strange, like walking into a workplace environment with a dog. Most people are like, we don't allow pets in our building, and it's like you've got a celebrity dog going in and giving therapeutic support to people. Have people been quite welcome? Have you sort of got into some places where they've kicked you out? And you've got into other places where they've welcomed you?
Well, we always ask permission first. So we have a nice conversation before we go to any site. We have a good conversation with them and we're serious. So I think we've realized we're getting really good feedback in open, welcoming presence to everyone, because we're really showing that we're collecting this information. And I think as a society, we're getting a little bit more open to it. Even in the airports, you see, animals welcome and flying with people, because that's an anxiety many people have, flying, and if they have their animal with them. And there are a lot of service animals you see. And so it's becoming more commonly accepted. And so that's where really we're working, and showing these numbers is going to really help, cortisol levels, heart rate, all the things, that we're trying to measure and show to the business owners and to medical professionals too. For example, dental offices, a lot of people have a horrible fear of going to the dentist. And so that's something else.
I hate going to the dentist. That's the worst place. It wouldn't be accepted in the UK. I'm sorry. If I turned out to my dentist and said, do you mind if my dog just comes and have his teeth done at the same time as me? They would be kicking me out straight away. So, it must be a bit more lenient in the US over there,
Right. Well, sometimes we do have to go outside to meet, because there are people with allergies, and we understand that. And so we plan this well in advance. So the employers, like, let's say the dental office owner, they know, the doctor knows that we're coming. And then if there are any employees who have allergies, we'll go outside and meet with them in a designated place with all of the employees who are able to spend time with our dog. So we have to plan this out, because you need to make accommodations. Everyone has different situations, and sometimes there are buildings that don't allow animals, because, let's say some hospitals, they're very careful about where you can enter. So we have to take all of those things into consideration, and it's fine, so we go along with that. And many times we have just gone outside to meet with people. And one was a hospital visit, and it was wonderful. Everyone came out, and they were, so pleased to have the break, because it was, it's a very stressful environment. You're dealing with life and death. But dental too, there's a lot of stress and anxiety with that. So it's,
So how fast is it? When did this first start, Dawn? It's been going on for some time, or when did this study first start? What made you think, do you know what? I'm just going to get Bailey the dog, and we're just going to go to all these places and visit. When did this first start for you?
Well, really, for us, it was 3 years ago, and we went through extensive training through Pet Partners, which is kind of like the Harvard of animal therapy training. So they make you, as a handler and as an animal, both go through extreme testing. And it's good, because you're going into all different environments, especially in the hospitals, because there's medication that could be dropped, and you need an animal that's going to listen to you. So you train your dog, say, stop. And they're not picking up like pills or anything like that, and, or food, all the types of things that could happen, that could be dangerous to our animals, and also to other people, so we've gone through that. And it was myself and my children, my teenage children. So they're both handlers as well. And for like 3 years now, we've been volunteering throughout our community and raising awareness for animal therapy, and really encouraging others to volunteer with their animals, because so many of us in our neighborhood have pets, and we want to share that, because there are some people who can't have a pet. Maybe, especially people that have to move into like a nursing home, they could not take their pets with them. So we'll come for a visit, and they have a designated area, a common area where we're allowed to visit with the pets. And animal therapy doesn't have to just be a dog. It could be a cat. It could be a guinea pig. It could be a bird. We've seen it all. And it's amazing.
What's the weirdest animal you've seen for therapeutic reasons? I can't imagine a spider or a snake being very therapeutic.
That's right. Oh, yes. Right. And fish, we've seen fish in aquariums that are mobile, and they're moved from one room to the next, and you just watch the movement of the fish, and it's beautiful and just very therapeutic. And so, there's a lot of data behind that, and that's what we're trying to make sure, we get that word out. And so we've been doing it for a while now, and, in the field, and really now trying to get it out and into the medical field and into the businesses, so that they're aware of all the benefits, and they see that this isn't just something that's imagined imagined in our mind. It's something that's true. And we're measuring it with cortisol levels, stress levels, and we have surveys that we're doing. So we're really collecting the research to prove our point and to show that there's some information to back this up, some true research.
So I'm thinking, like, obviously, what states in America does this happen? Are you going as far as you can, or is there certain states in America that you're targeting?
Well, we're in Chicago, Illinois, so
Okay.
we've really been welcomed almost everywhere, but we do have a very deep conversation beforehand, and we make accommodations. And that's usually the biggest hurdle, is making the accommodations so that we can meet in a safe place where everyone is comfortable. Because there are people who are afraid of dogs, and you have to accommodate for that. And so we're going to go to a place where everyone who goes is open to the idea of visiting with the animal. So so here in Illinois, they've been very welcome. And that's really the only state that we have been in, but we want to get the information out everywhere. So we can really share the positive environment that we are creating with the dog visits, and how it's been really a true measure of reducing stress and anxieties, for many things, all over the plane.
I've been speaking to some, since I last spoke to you, I've been speaking to some of my artists, and also been speaking to some people who, have animals in their lives, and it's such a big thing for them, and the artist was also saying, in terms of therapeutic support, one of the things that they miss is their animals when they are going live, on tours and things like that, and therapy, and building those relationships, and burnout as well, obviously, for artists and things like that, and having therapy through animals must be able to help them prior going on tour and coming back from tour, and actually missing their animals as well. I know that, if you ask a lot of artists around, who do they miss most, it mostly be the dog. It's not their partner, it's the dog that they're missing.
Well, and it is a very stressful lifestyle with musicians, because you're traveling a lot, and there are animals, lots of animals that are, you're able to travel with them. Some not as much as others, but if you find a dog or a cat, or, whatever animal you have that is good with traveling, that can be an amazing companion for the, just the type of strenuous travel that is involved for any musician. I mean, it's they're, sometimes they're through flights, or they're on a bus, or, all the different things, and all the stressors that go with that, because, with the construction on the road, you see that going on all the time. And then also, stage fright is one of the number one fears for anybody. And to have that kind of anxiety, if you have a support, like the animal there who is constant for you, that is something that could be very real, and a comfort that could really get you over and to be able to take on that next gig and perform as you're expected, and then especially as you get busy, you have more and more demands. And so all the things, that go on, and it's in every industry, but particularly for anyone performing like that, I think that's, it's a wonderful gift that someone can, share their music, but to be able to perform in front of a live audience like that could be, a real anxiety for a lot of people. And of course, we as an audience want to see that and appreciate it. So if there's something that we can do to help that person share their talent, that's wonderful. And bringing in animals.
It's beautiful. I spoke to you about an artist who I know very well in the music industry, and her dogs go with her everywhere. And they actually get to a point, because of her neurodiversity, that they are able to, make her feel comfortable about going to award shows, be able to travel to concerts. There's so many things that an assisted animal can have, a therapeutic animal, that they can actually give you that confidence to be able to. And I would like anybody after today's show, to share your examples with us as well, because part of this research that Dawn is doing, is to gain real life examples. Now, Dawn, you and Bailey, you've been on the road for some time now. Come on, give us some stories. What stories have you actually done? You talked about going into all these businesses and websites. Give us some stories that you've actually had.
Well, during COVID, we were at a hospital, and you could just imagine all of the doctors and nurses and how stressed they were at that time. And we had to meet outside with the masks and all the things that you had to go through at that time. But it was so rewarding for me to have some kind of comfort for all of the people that were working round the clock, and in life and death situations. I mean, they were seeing horrible things going on, and it's just very difficult. They came home, they could just rest, and then they come right back to work. And it was just, really difficult for them. So in meeting with all of them, I mean, we really had just around probably 15 doctors and nurses with us around our dog. And that was just, they were really so appreciative, and it just felt so good and rewarding, especially at that time, because it was so stressful for everyone, and it was so like, there was so much uncertainty. No one really knew what was happening. And just to have, the fluffy dog to pet for a half an hour, a little break, it's totally natural. That's just a nice comfort, and really rewarding for me to have that. And that was very memorable moment. And just there was one gentleman that we worked with in a memory care unit, and just starting with Alzheimer's, and it was difficult for his family. They just were kind of losing their father, and it was really a challenge at the time. And so we were working with him, and I was working with the memory care director on trying to gauge his memory a little bit. And we were talking about his childhood dog and bringing our dog into a visit with him and kind of bringing back those memories and getting him to talk about, the dog's name and what breed was it. And, all those little things that we kind of take for granted, but just having the dog there and our Bailey, him petting Bailey, and just kind of helped him to trigger the memories of his own childhood dog. And, that really helped. And it was emotional for his family to see. But it was really wonderful. And it was definitely a slow process. And you just, with that, anyone, going through those challenges, you need patience, but a little bit at a time. And it was really, really special, to be part of that.
Bailey's like a superhero. We haven't, I've got this vision of Bailey in my head, and it's like a fluffy dog. What type of dog? What type of breed is he?
Well, he's a Shetland sheepdog. So for short, we call him a Sheltie, and he's very fluffy. Okay. I'll give you a picture of him. And so he was just at the groomer today. So he's looking beautiful. And he's a favorite whenever we bring him in because he's so soft. Everyone wants to touch him, and he loves it. And so, we've had little kids, pull his ears and his tail, and he just looks like, oh, okay. And he's just really easy
Get with it,
Yeah, they love it.
That's him.
Yeah. And then he loves tummy rubs, all of it. So, but that's the disposition, for what we're doing. But, everyone can find their, special animal. There are so many wonderful dogs waiting to be adopted at humane societies. We do a lot of work with our community humane society as well. And, whatever cats, they have guinea pigs, hamsters. It's wonderful, whatever.
Talk about the Humane Society. You've mentioned that, so obviously that's a someone that you work with who's doing helping you in your research. Are they based in the same place as you? How can people get in contact with them?
That's right. So we are in the Chicagoland area, but then they also have humane societies in probably every community, everywhere. So you can always look up some, online. Obviously, you can find wherever local, what's convenient to you. And then they usually have tours, and you can go through and see which animals are available for adoption. And then many times they have websites as well. And so you can see, and sometimes they even have fostering programs. And, especially if you have other animals at home, you might want to see, okay, how does this dog get along with my cat? That type of thing, and have them socialize a little bit. We've taken Bailey to the dog park, and, that's always exciting and fun just to have them kind of socialize with each other. But the comfort that they bring is amazing. All of our wonderful animals, it's wonderful. And we really, want to get the word out so that everyone is very accepting of animal therapy, and we're able to provide that in this really stressful world that we're living in now. You know,
I like the fact that you're doing it in workplaces. There's many places in the UK, especially, that won't accept animals. Like I was saying to you the other day, I really miss having an animal. And I think for artists as well, you know, we spend so much time on the road that we don't want to have an animal because we don't want to leave them at the home. You know,
Right.
there are, and you did say to us that there are plenty of places. You've already mentioned like park meetups. You know, there's plenty of places where people can actually get in contact with animals. You know, is there sort of like pet places who are taking part, schools? And, you know, you obviously you're doing research around business, but is it becoming sort of a norm that these sort of therapeutic, you know, places are being set up for people?
Well, yes, and that's what we're trying to do is, I mean, we do have to reach out and have a conversation before we step in, because we don't want to surprise anyone with a visit. We definitely need permission before going into any place of business. And so once we have that established, but I think I've had to win over some people a little bit because they were a little bit adverse to like, I wonder how this is going to go. And then as we talked, and they learned about how this isn't going to be just, you know, a distraction from the workday.
We're nearly losing Dawn today. She has just literally told me that she may be having a thunderstorm over in the US. So I hope we do not lose her. But I hope you've been enjoying this. I've been really enjoying it, actually. I've actually found out some really cool stuff in relation to animal-assisted therapy. She is moved down to the basement. There was going to be a storm, apparently. We do hope to get her back. While we're waiting for her, I tell you what, I'm going to surprise you, as this is the first of the episodes here today. I'm going to put you some music on because I do not want to lose Dawn. Let's see if we can get Dawn back. I'm going to give you a bit of some music during the break, okay? While we're waiting for Dawn to come back, let's have some music. Let's see if she is going to return. This is Too Bold to Blend by Michael Cagle, everybody. Enjoy.
I never fit the freight, couldn't crop me clean. Polaroid soul in a grayscale scene. Too awful a template, too bright for your lens. I'll bend all the edges, never make amends. Loud in my chest, like a siren flare. 88 strong, every color I wear. You whisper safe, I'm shouting loud and free. A walking clash in harmony. You can keep your rules in a little black book. I rewrote the cover and changed how it looks. I'm not background noise, I'm front page print. My life's a statement, not a hint. I'm too bold to blend, don't expect me to fade. I'm not Chuck Taylor's laced, every pair on parade. Color outside the lines, I don't need your trend. I make the world shift, I'm too bold to blend. I write the script, no state direction, no casting call, just self-reflection. Freestyling lines in neon ink. Your blink, I change what people think. Spotlight chasing, now I am the glow. And wherever I walk, I steal the show. I vibe on frequencies they can't decode. I'm vintage thunder in future mode. Your copy-paste wall doesn't work on me. I'm remixing reality. One of one in a carving crowd. Turn the volume up. I was born loud and I'm too old to blend. Don't expect me to fade. Got my Chuck Taylor's laced, every pair on parade. Color outside the lines, I don't need your trend. I make the world shift, I'm too bold to blend. prism. They built the frame, I blew the edge, signed my name on every ledge. I'm too bold to blend, don't expect me to fade. Got my Chuck Taylors laced, every pair on parade. Color outside the lines, I don't need your trend. I make the world shift, I'm too bold to blend, too bold to blend. Don't expect me to fade. I walk in loud, never halfway made. Original soul, yeah, I set the trend. Never meant to follow, I'm too bold to blend. Too bold to blend. Too fierce to tame. Every pair of Chucks spells out my name. Color outside the lines, paint it all again. I don't fit the world, I make the world bend.
Well, it looks as though our storms have got the worst of us over in Chicago, in Illinois. I'm afraid that means that Dawn is unable to return to the stage. I hope she's all right. She had to go down to the basement. Bless her. Well, I hope you have enjoyed Phoenix Connect. I hope you have learned a lot about the research that they're doing just by getting the information that I have sent out to you this week. We will be bringing some more live businesses to you on the show. And if you've got a business and you want to share your story with the world, don't hide in the basement, and please don't give me when there's a thunderstorm coming, okay? Please give me a ring when there's no thunderstorms or anything else like that. But no, please get in contact us with Phoenix Connect, okay? And come and tell us about your business, and especially share it with the music world. We would love to know what your products look like, what your businesses can do to help us get on in this amazing world of the music industry and amazing world of business, okay? It's been a really, really enjoyable first week with Phoenix Connect. I have literally been in contact with lots and lots of businesses who are going to be coming onto the show. Next Friday, I'm going to be meeting with a card collector who has basically been collecting cards for many years and been doing it as a living, okay, and coming up with all sorts of things. So if you're a merchandise person when it comes to a music industry and you got a new set of merchandise coming out, why don't you add some playing cards in there all about your history of a musician? How about that, eh? I've also got some book authors who have been writing their very own books and will be able to give you some tips and tricks how to write books as well. I'm looking forward to that one as well. And we've also got lots of other things which are coming out. Please head over to RealBiz, okay, to the Scenes Projects. They have got some great people coming on as well. Some nice pre-recorded episodes for you to watch as well. This is the first Spotlight Business Connect. I'm your host, AJ. I've really enjoyed spending time with you. And we wish Dawn and her amazing doggy, bless him, you know, the best of luck with their research. And we look forward to hopefully bringing it back and finding out a bit more what happens at the end of that research, and to actually see if those businesses are accepting those dogs as an everyday thing, okay? We will see you soon. Take good care. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye, everyone.